Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, everyone, wherever you are on the planet. I welcome you to this discussion on leadership. I would like to continue with our discussion on leadership. Just a couple of minutes while we wait for others to connect. We wait for others to tune in. Invite friends, invite people so we can watch together. We can discuss together. We can talk about leadership together. Invite someone, invite a friend. I'll just give us a few. I got 2 minutes before 8 o'clock. 2 minutes before we start. Glory. I hope you're all doing well. Like I said, this is a discussion. We can discuss. We can, share ideas. We can talk about leadership together. So feel free to come on live. Feel free to join. Feel free to be part of this discussion. It's not just me who's supposed to be talking. We can talk. We can discuss. So I just want to welcome you all to this nice topic on leadership. We so need to discuss this topic. We so need to talk about leadership. So much. It's very, very important. Very, very important. It's something that we can't do without. We have to really talk about leadership. We have to talk about it. It's critical. It is very, very critical that we discuss leadership, that we discuss this topic of leadership. Very critical. Very, very critical. Right. Pastor Wambe, how are you, sir? It's good to have you. Just waiting a couple more minutes for others to tune in, for others to connect. And good evening. Wherever you are, greetings from the Great Slough. We greet you from the Great Slough. It's a nice evening. Very nice evening. Oh, Elizabeth from South Africa. Welcome. Right, today I want people to say something. I want people to talk to me. I want people to, write comments. Last week, a few people were writing comments, which is good. That's what we need with these conversations. It has to be a conversation, two-way conversation, effective conversation, because I just don't want to talk by myself. So I'm discussing true and effective leadership. And I promised last week that I'll be talking about character today. But as I normally do, I just go back a little bit and do a recap in case someone is joining us for the first time. So very important to do a recap. So we're talking about leadership, true and effective leadership. What is it? What is a leader? What is the definition of leadership? So we defined leadership as the capacity to influence others through inspiration, which is motivated by a passion, generated by a vision, produced by a conviction, ignited by a purpose. But key words are vision and passion. So we said you have to know where you're going, you have to know why you are here, you have to know your purpose, you have to know your future, you have to understand that without a vision, without purpose, your leadership will not be effective. So as a leader, you need to understand that you need to have a vision. Oh, my brother from South Africa, Wanda, it's always good to have you. You're a little bit late today. It's always good to have you, my brother. It's always good to because you are always here. So you have to have a purpose. You have to have a vision for you to be an effective leader. You have to have a vision. You have to have a purpose. So we were talking about how the world is full of followers. The world is full of managers. The other week I gave some distinctive differences between a manager and a leader, and we saw that leaders are very different from managers. We saw that leaders do things differently from managers. Leaders, people who make things happen. We said leaders are people who make things happen. Where managers strive to administer what the leaders try by all means to innovate things. Where managers try to copy what's been done before, leaders, they try to originate new ideas, new visions. And managers, we said, managers rely on controlling people, where a leader, by definition, inspires others. A leader has to be full of inspiration. So we spoke about leadership being a process. Leadership, you have to develop your leadership. We said everyone is a leader. You are born to be a leader, but your leadership may be dormant. It's in you, but it may still be dormant, but you need to develop. This is why we are taking on these sessions. This is why we are embarking on this journey. You need to develop your leadership. You need to train to become an effective leader. So we said you are a leader in your own sphere of influence. You are a leader. So you must understand that as you are, pointed nose, flat nose, big lips, small lips, you are born to lead. You should know that as a human, you are born to lead. And God has put you here on earth for a leadership responsibility. He has put you on earth for a leadership responsibility. You have a sphere of influence that no one else of the 7.3 billion people on the planet can do except you. So you need to understand that you have a sphere of influence, you have a gifting, you have a talent that God has given you to execute while you are here on earth. No one else has been given that responsibility. It's you and you alone. So I'll just go through the essentials that I discussed, essentials in the development of a leader, in order for you to be able to prepare yourself to be an effective leader. There are things that you need to understand. Number one, we said you need to discover yourself. This, we're talking about having a sense of purpose, sense of meaning for your own life, and this will give you a basis to have a personal value. We spoke about a belief in your potential and capacity. You need to believe in yourself. So discover yourself. Number 2, we said you need to capture your vision. Vision. You need to capture a vision. Have a mental photography of your future, your particular future. Vision should incorporate your purpose. So vision and purpose, they go hand in hand. Share your inspiration. You need to share your inspiration. That's number 3. Number 4, you need to commit to your principles and values. Commit to your own principles and values. I will be zeroing on this because today I'm talking about character. So character is all about principles and values, and we'll be discussing more. So you need to commit to principles, commit to values. Have values. What are your values? What are your principles? What makes you tick? So vision cannot be carried out without self-sacrifice. You need to sacrifice. You need to do some sacrifice. So true leadership is always sensitive to these values, to these principles. So you need to know. And number 5, you need to express your passion. Without passion, leadership is very, very difficult. So passion becomes an agent that provokes or speeds significant change or reaction inside you. So it becomes a catalyst. So passion. Be passionate about your gifting. Be passionate about your sphere of influence. And passion, we said, when failure comes your way one day, because if you are a leader, you will be faced by failure. When it comes your way one day, passion should be the very thing that picks you up. Oh, Eliana Moraes, how are you, Eliana? All the way from Brazil. I'm honored. Eliana Moraes. So when failure comes your way, you should know that it's passion that should pick you up. So you must have passion. So you must be able to express your passion. Number 6, be able to empower others. Leadership is all about empowering others. A leader does not exist for himself, and leadership is never for itself. Leadership is for others, guiding others to a better future, enabling others to develop in greater ways, helping others to improve themselves, inspiring others to believe in themselves, to believe that anything is impossible. True leadership is about empowering others. True leadership acts with integrity towards others. True leadership is about raising others and showing them that they can as well do it. We love you too, Auntie Eliana. We love you. So true leadership is about leading others to a place where they can excel. That's true leadership. True leaders lead through character and integrity. Like I said, I'm going to zero on character today. So you need to be able, number 7, to discipline yourself in order to execute your purpose and vision. Have a deep dedication to personal discipline. Have some self-imposed standards for the sake of achieving your goals. Do you have standards? Do you have values? Do you have principles? So discipline yourself. So never compromise on your standards, on your vision, on your purpose, just for the sake of popularity or fame. Do not compromise. True leaders will never compromise. True leaders will stick to their purpose. True leaders will have a deep sense of dedication to personal discipline. They will discipline themselves. They will make sure that they commit to themselves. And number 8, we said coordinate your resources. As a leader, you will have personnel, human resources. As a leader, you need to be able to organize people. If you are in an organization, you need to be able to lead and organize staff and manage diverse talents. People are gifted differently. People are talented differently. So as a true and effective leader, you need to know people's talents and you need to know where to fit them, because we all work like a puzzle. Know strengths and weaknesses of others so that you can place them in the right place, because a person who is placed in the wrong place will not function properly, will not execute their responsibility properly. So coordinate your resources. Use wisdom when assigning other people to particular teams. Use wisdom when putting people in positions. You need to be able to coordinate your finances. Be a good steward of your physical and financial resources. And on coordination, you need to be a good planner. Effective leadership walks hand in hand with good planning. If you don't plan, you're only planning to fail. So plan your resources, both short and long term. Plan. Know what's needed now. Know what's needed for tomorrow. Know what's needed in 5 years for furthering your vision. What do you need in 2 years' time? So put those resources in a plan. Plan. You have to have a plan for your personal life. You have to have a plan for where you're going next year. Have a plan for what you are doing in 5 years, where you will be in 10 years, where you will be in 20 years. Have a plan. That's a good and effective leader. So 9, manage your priorities. Prioritize. Leadership is controlled by vision and disciplined by a sense of identity. Leadership is controlled by vision and disciplined by a sense of identity. Like we said, purpose and vision should dictate your priorities. Do you have priorities as a leader? What are your priorities? And these priorities determine the plan that you will have. Because the way you're going to move, the direction you're going to take is determined by the priorities that you've got. If you prioritize joy, for example, you prioritize going out and having joyous nights, that's what you will become. So you need to have priorities and know those priorities, and you must understand that priorities are goals that you have stated that are necessary for progressing your vision, taking forward your vision. So you need to have an agenda for your life. Priorities. Don't live a life without priorities. And number 10, essential things for you to know in leadership. You need to mentor your successor. Be someone who mentors other people. Leadership is committed to preparing future leaders. So as a leader, your satisfaction should be about growing other leaders. Remember, what you are starting shouldn't be for you only. It should be for the future. It should be for generations to come. So share your knowledge, share your skills, share your experience, expertise, and resources with others. So leadership is never given to one generation, but it's transgenerational. It's for generations and generations and generations to come. So don't just lead for today, but lead for generations to come. Be a leader, a generational leader. Be someone who knows that I'm not doing this for myself. So in your becoming a leader, you need to understand, like I said, character is the thing that's lacking in most people who call themselves leaders. What is character? Character is defined in the dictionary as the mental and moral qualities distinctive to an individual. Mental and moral qualities distinctive to an individual. That's character. And what does character have to do in leadership? Character is very central in leadership. We see a lot of leaders fail because they lack character. Lack of character will make sure that you fail. If you lack good character, you will fail. We know that leadership is central in our world. We need leaders. We're talking about our countries need leaders. Right now in the UK, we are going through a very tumultuous leadership time. For 3 years, we've been going through this. It's about leadership. So leadership is very key, it's very central in our world, in our organizations, in our workplaces, in our churches. We need leaders. We need true and effective leaders. So we know that many people start strong, but they end up crash landing in their leadership. We hear of leaders that have had scandals. They started very well, but the end is full of scandals. The end is full of jail sentences. We hear of broken marriages. We hear of recessions. We hear of a lot of scandals that happen with leaders. So nothing happens without leadership. Nothing succeeds without leadership. Nothing can be altered or transformed without leadership. Nothing develops without it. Nothing advances without it. Nothing improves without leadership. And nothing is corrected without leadership. So leadership is key in our world today. We need true and effective leaders. We are having this discussion because leadership is very, very needed. We are in a critical position, especially this day and age, because we need more effective leaders. So leadership is a key to human preservation, is a key to growth, to change. Everyone on earth is being guided and influenced or manipulated by some type of a leader in their lifestyle, in the way they are going. Like I said, we talk about our governments, we talk about politics, we talk about business and the economics, we talk about religion, sports, media, arts and entertainment, we talk about even charitable activities. All these areas, they are crying for leadership. And in every one of these areas, you have heard and you have seen that somewhere, somehow, people have failed. Auntie Amanda, how are you? It's good to see you. It's good to see you. We have seen in government and in politics, we have seen people fail. We have seen businesses fail. We have seen religious leaders fail. We have seen sports personalities, Tiger Woods, for example. We have seen people fail dismally. We have seen artists fail dismally. Why? Because they lack character. They are deficient in good character. So today's leaders are so deficient in character. Why is that? Because when people go to universities to be trained as managers and leaders, there is something that's lacking. There is no emphasis, sometimes not even an inclusion of the concept of character as an essential in the learning of leadership, in the training of leadership. There are no mentorship programs, no sensible, meaningful mentorship programs to mentor future leaders. So there's no emphasis on character. Character is very pivotal in forming leaders. Wrong priority is given to a lot of things. Some of the things I've mentioned before. Wrong priority is given to titles. So leadership is less about titles. Leadership is less about positions. It's not even about positions. It's not about power. So people give priority to power. People give priority to intelligence, skills, gifts, and talents, educational qualifications, knowledge, competence, charisma, and other personal traits. All these are useful, but those should never be the priority of leadership, in leadership. So in the process of emphasizing on all these things, we end up with very charismatic leaders, very, very charismatic leaders, but without character. We end up having gifted leaders without convictions. We end up having powerful, very powerful leaders without principles. And hence, some of the powerful leaders that we have had are killing their own people. because they don't have principles. They've got the power, but they haven't got principles. They don't have character. Leaders oppressing people. We end up with very intellectual leaders, but without any morals. No morality at all. Very intellectual. If someone was to study the life of Adolf Hitler, you will realize that he was a very intelligent human being, very influential human being, but because he lacked character, he didn't have the moral standards, he influenced people in the wrong direction. We end up having visionary leaders without values. Some people have got vision, some people have got ideas, very, very brilliant ideas, but they don't have values. They don't have principles. We end up having even spiritual leaders without conscience. All these stories that we read about or we hear on the news about priests and pastors abusing children, abusing other members of their organizations, it's all lack of conscience, lack of character. Genuine leadership is critical this day. It's critical. It's lacking in our modern day today. So a future that includes strong ethical leaders will only be secure by a return to character training and personal character development as our priority. So as a generation, we need to prioritize character training, character development. We need to train our generation and the generation to come in character, to have good character, be of good character. Very, very important. Character is one thing that shapes, it matters, it shapes leadership. Character is better than gold. I think you have heard this saying that a good name is more desirable than great riches. A good name defines character. How do people regard you? How do people know you? Are you known as a womanizer? Are you known as a loose woman? How do people know you? What's your character? Are you known as a foul-mouthed person? What is your character? That's what defines a type of leader that you are. A good name is more desirable than great riches. Too many people start very strong, but fail or self-destruct because of defects in their moral compass. Too many people start very strong. I've seen so many organizations start with very powerful and visionary and charismatic leaders, but because they lack a moral compass, they don't go anywhere. So your character can either build your leadership or can assassinate your leadership. The greatest obstacle to a leader's success is a deficit of character. So we need to prioritize certain things. So prioritize internal values. Remember, we spoke about values. Prioritize principles. You need to have principles. You need to commit to self-imposed standards. Have an ethical standard that you self-impose on yourself. You need to be that kind of a leader that knows that character matters. Without character, you will not go anywhere as a leader. Without character, you will fail. A good name is more desirable than great riches. So you need to start now. Who hasn't made a mistake? You have all made mistakes in the past, but you need to start reshaping your character, remolding your character, so that your leadership will last for generations, so that you become a transgenerational leader, a leader that goes on even well after you have left the planet. Your name will still lead. A good name is more desirable than great riches. I am so proud to talk about a man that has lived 60 years on the planet. His name was Dr. Miles Monroe. If you go to any part of the planet and mention his name, they either have read his book or they know him. A guy who left the planet without a scandal. He left the planet without a scandal. Most leaders, there are so many leaders. Remember last week I was giving an example and I quote, I did not have sexual relations with this woman, unquote. We all know who said that. It is about character. It is about principles, values, and a commitment to self-imposed standards. We need to understand. There are so many leaders who start strong, but the end is not so good. They end up doing things that you think, why did they have to do that? So many leaders, sometimes we emulate them, sometimes we look at them and say, I wish I could be like this person. But now with what I know, I'm not moved by a leader who doesn't have a character. You can be a very powerful, charismatic, intelligent leader, but if you don't have a character, you are not in my books. I follow a good character. I follow a good name. So remember, for leadership, you need to have a good name. You need to have a character. It is better than gold. It is better than riches. I want to be remembered. I want my name to still lead people even well after I've left the planet. That's the type of leader I'm molding myself to become. I want to be that type of a leader who will be remembered for the good things that I would have done. I want to be remembered for helping people. I want to be remembered for making other leaders become. I want to be remembered for the good character that I have. There are certain people, when you mention their name, everyone is like, looking on the side. They don't want to know, because a name is associated with that person's character. Have a good name. Mold your character. Be known for good things. Remember, leadership is not about manipulation. You may be visionary, you may be intellectual, you may be gifted, talented, but if you don't influence and inspire others, you are not a good leader. It's not about manipulation. Do not manipulate people. Once you start trying to manipulate and control people, you will start feeling resistance, because God did not create it that way. God created us to lead, to inspire. So very, very important to know that as a leader, your duty and your role is to inspire others. Have a good character. Have a good character. A good name is more desirable than great riches. Have a good name. Be known for what is good. When you have left that organization that you work for, how will people remember you? What things are they going to remember about you? Just food for thought. Are you going to be remembered as a very nasty person? Are you going to be remembered as a person who stood for what is right? Are you going to be remembered as a person who was not easy to relate with? What sort of name are you leaving in that organization? At your funeral, are people going to be lying and saying she was a very righteous person? Are people going to be saying she did a lot of good things, yet you didn't? So it's very, very important for you to understand that without character, your leadership is compromised. Your character can assassinate your leadership. Very, very many people have started strong, and they looked like they are gonna go to the end, but they haven't because of character. Many people miss the point because of character. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to stop here. I'll continue next Friday on character because there's a lot to talk about on character, but I don't want to exceed my time. So I'll give 2 minutes to anyone who wants to ask a question or wants to share a point. I'll give 2 minutes to someone who wants to say something. Very important. If you want to come live, please make sure your if you are using a phone, make sure it's in the portrait position, in the landscape position. Sorry. Make sure if you are using a phone, it's in the landscape position, because then you can come, then we can see you. But you can write questions here. You can write suggestions or what you think. Very important. I'm so honored to have you guys online. I'm so honored to have everyone here, people from all over the planet, the globe. It's very humbling for me to have people from across the globe, because it's not easy, to just talk about things and people listen. So I am very much honored to have you on this platform. Very much honored. Is there anyone with any questions? Anyone who wants to say something? Or shall I ask you questions? No, I'm not going to ask you questions. Because I've been talking for the last half an hour. So I would want us to have discussions, really, to talk. Not for me to just, talk at you. I want us to talk. I want us to share ideas. And it's a platform that we must share ideas. We must talk to each other. We must talk to each other on this platform. Very important. Sister Julia, you're just joining us, and we're about to finish. Who's gonna come and say something? Right. Great. 1 more minute and we are done. Just 1 more minute. Oh, my friend Terry, how are you? Terry Pruitt. It's good to have you. Great. Susan Shaji. I said it right. Susan Shaji. How are you, Susan? And my brother Inabu. How are you? Dean Blackwood, good to see you. Amma, good to see you. And Amanda, good to see you. Nishita, Konda, oh my goodness, I am very honored to have you. Very honored to have you. Great. Leadership. Remember, you are a leader. Remember, you were born to lead. Remember, God has put you on the planet for a specific mission, and that mission is to be a leader, influencing in your sphere of influence. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for watching. Please share the video with your family and friends. Make sure it's shared. Make sure you pass it on to others, and make sure that everyone is able to hear what we are talking about leadership. It's critical. We need leaders. Not only leaders, not positions, not titles, but we need true and effective leaders in our organizations, in our churches, in our homes, we do need leaders. Thank you. Oh, thank you, my brother. Thank you, Brother Wanda. It's always nice. I look forward to these Fridays. I look forward to doing these live discussions. For me, it's very uplifting to have a family that you talk to. Thank you very much. I will stop here and I will be seeing you on Friday. Thank you. God bless.